Hi, this is Simon and welcome to a new music lesson. In the last episode, we learned how to write pitches using music notation. We learned that we can use 5 lines and 6 spaces to represent 11 notes, and that the treble clef indicates that the note that goes on the second line is G4. We practiced reading the notes and transcribing simple tunes made of Gs and As. Today, we will talk about another fundamental property of the sound, the duration, and we will continue practicing music transcription, which is a very important skill to develop. In the last lesson, we observed that in a piece of music, notes can be long or short, like in Mozart's theme. But you can see that in the score, there isn't any information about the duration of the notes. When we talk about duration, the easiest thing we can do is thinking about how we measure time. A clock has 3 hands to keep track of hours, minutes and seconds, and we can call hour, minute and second units of time. We can then write time in plain English like this. But in the last lesson, we discovered that using plain English to write music is not very effective because we don't see the relationship between the notes. At this stage, it might be difficult to read the name of the notes fast, but when you see them, you can already say in a blink of an eye which one is higher and which one is lower. Look. Probably you weren't able to read the name of all the notes, but their relationship in terms of pitch was pretty obvious. We would like to write the duration of the notes in a way that makes it easy to identify if they have the same duration or not. The first thing we need to do is establish a unit of time. In a clock we have hours, minutes and seconds, while in music we have beats, like this or this. Now we can simply come up with symbols to indicate that the duration of a note is 1, 2, 3 or 4 beats. This is actually slightly incorrect, but it is very close to what these symbols really mean, and it is totally fine for now. Observe the position of the stem. It is either on the right and up, or on the left and down. They mean exactly the same thing, and there are 2 choices in order to simplify reading the music, and fortunately, there aren't strict rules about how the stems have to be written. Try to familiarize with the new symbols in this quick exercise. Observe that the symbol we use to represent a 3-bit note is a bit weird. It is like the symbol of a 2-bit note, but with an extra dot on the right. There is a very good reason for it, but for now, just take it as it is. We are now able to read and write the music, indicating both the pitch and the duration of each note. Listen to this simple tune and try to follow the music sheet closely. So far, so good, but there is still something missing. We don't have any information about how fast a beat is. Because we don't need to be extremely precise, we can solve this problem by writing at the top of the score how fast the music is intended to be played, which can give us a hint about how fast a beat is. For example, we can write fast, which could be like this. Or slow, which could be like this. This is indeed how it is done, but unfortunately not in English. In fact, even if music notation is universal, all the information that appears in the form of text in a music score has to be in Italian. So instead of fast, we have a few options: allegro, presto, prestissimo, and others. But we don't really want to memorize any of these right now. Instead, we use a different method which doesn't require any knowledge of Italian. We know that this is 1 beat. To convert beats to actual time, we can write how many beats we have in a minute. So this means that there are 60 beats in a minute, or 1 every second, like this. While this is a little bit faster. Even if this is a rigorous mathematical relationship between beats and seconds, this has to be more of an indication about how fast the music is, rather than the absolute truth we must respect. If we know more or less how long a second is, and we see this, we know that there are slightly more than 2 beats every second, so we can roughly have an idea of how fast the music is, without doing any precise calculation or looking at the clock. We can always use the metronome if we want to be accurate. Observe that in music, speed is always indicated in beats per minute, never beats per second or seconds per beat. For now, we will not bother about the time indication. What is really important about the beat is the feeling of the pace or pulse of the music. In all the exercises, the beat will be given, so we don't need to worry about beats per minute at all. Let's try to listen and transcribe the duration of the notes. We just have to feel the beat and count. All the notes will be the same, so for the moment, we don't need to worry about the pitch. Let me show you how to do this with an example. Okay, the first note was longer than the second one. And this pattern was repeated in the third and fourth note. Then I heard 3 notes of the same duration, and they seemed to be fast, while the last note was pretty long. To figure out the durations, we really need to count. Listen again to the first 2 notes. The first one was double the time of the second one. Listen to this pattern a few times. It is really a 2-1 pattern. The next 3 notes were all the same and equal to 1 beat. The last note was long, but how long? Again, it is a matter of counting. So the last note was 3 beats. Now try on your own. As always, the solution of the exercises are available at the end of the video. Now that we are familiar with beats and relative symbols, we need to put everything together. We need to transcribe both the pitch and the duration of each note that we hear. As we did in the previous lesson, we will use only G's and A's. Each tune is repeated 3 times and it consists of 12 beats. A possible strategy to solve the exercises is figuring out the pitches first, then the duration, and use the last repetition of the tune to double-check everything. Today we talked about a fundamental property of the sound, the duration. We learned that a beat is the unit of time in music, and, simplifying, we discovered that this symbol indicates a duration of 1 beat. We learned that there are symbols to indicate a duration of 2, 3, and 4 beats as well. We practiced transcribing simple tunes made of Gs and As, recognizing both the pitch and the duration of the notes. And this is all for today. Thank you for watching and see you next time.